my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it is my pick, and it is the year of the Stichup, and I came in quite lukewarm at the start of the year, but I did redeem myself with Smokey the Bandit 3, so I've gone with a movie that has been on my list for so long, and it was a movie I actually enjoyed. I've watched it once. Obviously, you know I don't like sci-fi movies, Dave, but this one is a Stephen King screenplay directed by Stephen King, based on a book called Trucks by Stephen King. This one stars Emilio Estevez, Dave. This is from 1986. This is Maximum Overdrive. So, Dave, had you seen this one before, or obviously heard about it?
So I'd seen it, but I didn't really know what it was called. So I couldn't make the connection when you mentioned about the name, but having watched it, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember this. And I remember watching it around that time. It would have been late 80s, early 90s, I would say, just when I was in that Stephen King mode where I'd been scared shitless of all the genuine horror, the Nightmare on Elm Streets and things like that, Hellraiser, and I found Stephen King, and I'm like, oh, this is acceptable, palatable horror. I can deal with this. It's a bit scary, but not really scary. Not like I'm fucking shitting myself when I go to brush my teeth at night, ready for bed and whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, I can deal with this. So, I watched quite a few Stephen King things around this time, like Pet Sematary. It was around about this time. I think It came out 1990. So, yeah, it would have been around this time. And I didn't remember things specifically. I just remember all the machines coming to life and everything. And again, I've not watched it since that time, so I'll keep my powder dry on how it's aged. But yeah, I definitely had seen it, kind of enjoyed it as that, not loved it, but just enjoyed it as that like almost you're taking a sigh of relief. It's like, oh, fucking hell, I can watch a horror movie without fucking shitting myself. But how about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty similar with you. I think I watched this after I'd watched Christine, which again, another like horror. I don't like horror like you. I'm an absolute shithouse. I think this was on like BBC Two one night. I was at my nan and granddad's, put it on, never seen it before. And then I actually like the idea of it, of like, the machinery was being taken over by this sort of like cosmic thing, and obviously realised now I didn't really pay much attention to the story, maybe because it's not told very well, Dave, maybe. But it's a rogue comet going across, the Earth's fucking plane sort of thing that causes this problem. But I did like I didn't mind Emilio Estevez. I think it was all around like Young Guns. I remember watching one, and I've got it in my back pocket. There's another Emilio Estevez one I've got, Dave, and I'm not going to say it, but that could be coming down the line as a Stichup at some point this year. That's terrible. But yeah, I didn't mind him at all as an actor. So I love the idea, love the concept, and I'm with you. It wasn't too scary. It was a little bit silly, but I remember being some like gruesome bits in it and that I watched, but I've only ever seen it once. So I kept thinking, it was on my list as an actual genuine pick, as a like a proper pick, not a Stichup. And then when I read up what the scores were, I was like, oh yeah, this is going in the Stichup. As soon as we started, you brought the year of the Stichup in, I thought, oh yeah, this has got to come into the plane. So yeah, not seen it for well over 30 years at least. I would have been around about the same time as you, so I might have been about 13, 14, maybe early 90s. I watched it.
Yeah.
But I was so excited to watch this last couple of weeks. Thinking, yeah, I'm ready for this. This is going to be amazing. Well, anyway, Dave, I won't say anything until we get to the trailer.
And there was one trailer, there was a couple that I looked at, but there's one where Stephen King is sort of, I mean, the hubris of the guy at that time, and I appreciate that he said, one of the top trivias is that he was coked out of his mind when he directed this movie. And also, this is why he doesn't do any others. He doesn't direct any other movies. But he gives a proper speech, in front of the classic fucking Green Goblin truck about, basically implying that all of the other movies that were made based on his works were rubbish. But now he's going to take the helm and it's going to be great. But I was looking and it's like Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining. You mentioned about Christine, Children of the Corn. And I'm like, really? You're going to diss all those fucking movies and then you're going to bring us Maximum Overdrive? So I was surprised about how bold he was in saying, basically it's going to be so much better. It's going to be the real creator's vision. And so, let's get into the trailer, Chris.
What in the dickens is going on around here? Who was driving it?
I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us! What is going on?
I don't know!
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here. Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man. We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is.
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
As the Earth crosses the tail of a rogue comet, previously inanimate machines spring to life, an ATM insults a customer, and a bridge rises during heavy traffic, causing all vehicles on the bridge to fall into the river or collide. Chaos sets in as machines begin attacking humans across the country. At the Dixie Boy truck stop, Duncan Keller is blinded after a gas pump sprays diesel into his eyes. After an electric knife injures a waitress and an arcade machine electrocutes a customer, cook and paroled ex-convict Bill Robinson begins to suspect foul play. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, if there was ever a movie where fucking Emilio Estevez's dad hasn't got in the role, this is it. Because he is totally miscast in this movie, isn't he? He's like a little kid in this movie. He doesn't look right. I think this is what drew me in. I was saying before the trailer about like the movie itself and the machines taking over, all this stuff at the start. I was like, I remember thinking, fucking hell, this is unbelievable. Like the machines are taking over and everything.
Well, yeah.
But this movie's terrible. This is like a really bad movie. This is awful. I know Stephen King says, like, why did he never direct anything? What's Maximum Overdrive? Because he knows himself it's a terrible movie. But I think it's just miscast. Emilio Estevez cannot carry this movie. You need a big star to or someone with a bit of presence. Because Emilio Estevez is going around like ex-con. He's like, what? A con for what? Would you steal a fucking paper round or something? Like, he's not a fucking con. He's a little kid. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, he's too good looking. He's like,
he's a pretty boy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just like, come on. And the idea that, like, they're at this truck stop, Dave, and this is the central point of the whole fucking movie, innit? You've got this North Carolina, you've got different things happening with the trucks and that. Honestly, it really, the soda thing, that's what stuck with me with this movie more than anything, is the soda in the face.
Yeah,
that's what really stands out for me, is like iconic. And the Green Goblin, front of the truck. That truck's been resurrected and everything. I was reading up on like what happened with the actual truck. nobody thought he was going to be iconic, but he's got such a cult following, this movie now. Then it's fucking terrible, isn't it? The premise of it doesn't make any sense. If it was stuff that was electrical and it was electrical field, it's fine. But it just like any vehicle in it, and there's so many holes in like how this is happening. You know, the rear end comet, you know, is come across like the Earth's plane, and this is what's causing this. It makes no fucking sense. I mean, you said about a load of Stephen King movies before, but I think one of his best movies ever, converted from a book, is It. That is fucking iconic. You know what I mean? It's so good. And you look at this is woeful. And Christine's a good movie, which got some people didn't really like, but I like the idea of Christine with the car. But this is on another level. This is terrible, isn't it? It's so and the actors and actresses in it are fucking rubbish. Oh my God, they are bad.
Yeah. And you say about Christine, you mean the one where an inanimate object comes to life?
Yeah. Maybe he's in the same universe, Dave. I don't know, but
there's one of these Family Guy sketches where I think the publisher's asking, Stephen King about what his next book is, and he just sort of picks up a lamp next to him. It's about, oh yeah, this lamp comes to life, and it's like, he's attacking humans, and he's like, when can I have it? I don't know. It seems sacrilege to say, but Stephen King, he's done some absolute great things, but he's done some fucking shit as well. Now, I can see how this Trucks works as like a short story, and what I like is that it's all just centered around the truck stop. I mean, this comet coming across the Earth, it's not. You would imagine in real life it's this, big global event, so they could do it they could shoot the movie as this massive global event, couldn't they?
Yes.
But no, they just hone in on this little truck stop in North Carolina. And so they make that story, much smaller. But I completely agree with Emilio Estevez. I think he was trying to, stretch himself as an actor, but he's still he's just a fucking pretty boy. No one's buying him as an ex-con. Maybe someone like Josh Brolin now, him in that role or something, and you can believe it. Not Emilio Estevez, for not a single second are you believing this guy's got out and, he's having to take this cook's job, and, his boss is a bit of an arsehole as well. And you can see why, like say, in a short story format, I can see this working, but yeah, it's just really bad. And looking at the trivia and stuff and knowing about the behind the scenes, I mean, it just sounded like a nightmare. Stephen King said he was coked out of his brains, but I think he was drunk as well, and it's just really bad. Just everything about it. You say about the soda machine, I think that bit is fairly gruesome, but again, it doesn't work for me, because even if you take a soda can to the balls and you realise this thing is shooting out, you don't generally stick your face right in front of the soda can machine. And just everything about it, and it flip-flops between the ridiculousness to actually being quite gruesome. And I think there were more gruesome things shot, but then they cut it out so it wouldn't get an X rating.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think like the ridiculousness of it is like the blood work is terrible. Like it's really bad. It looks like jammed on it, or you can tell it's fake. None of it works. Even when like these gunshots, it doesn't seem to work, the reaction of the person who's supposed to have been shot. But what got me through the whole movie is the amount of people who were just stood in the middle of the fucking road when these massive HGV trucks are right behind them, and nothing. And you say what, Christine, you're right. That the Green Goblin truck is thingy about that. He's like, they just stand there and then they get crushed, don't they? It's like, why these people just stood there? That Green Goblin truck ends up behind that guy. I mean, I'm talking about later on in the movie, but I'm like, come on, this is fucking bollocks. Like, there's so many scenes where someone gets mowed down And you're like, but why have you not heard that? Why have you not, understood? And I'm like, I know it's part of the movie, but there's too many people get taken out by these apparently silent electric fucking vehicles, Dave. Now, if they were electric, fair enough. Like now, obviously, electric vehicles, we both have electric vehicles. You know what it's like. They are quiet, you know what I mean? And that's one of the problems that people are faced with electric vehicles. Come on. And just as a side note, Dave, when I was in Vegas last week, there's loads of them driverless cars. They look like little smart cars, all loads of them. And they've got these 4 cameras on each corner of the vehicle. They look like, actually not smart. You know what they look like? Something like Back to the Future 2, where they've got these really square vehicles, and they look, or somehow the Demolition Man. Some of the vehicles in that. But they've got these cameras on the corners, and then they've got SUVs with them on. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting in one of them. The little cars as well are tiny. And I'm thinking, fucking no chance we're getting in them. They were everywhere. It was dead surprising because they weren't there in September when we went. But really bizarre. Like, just imagine getting in one of them and like a Christine, it locks itself and we end up going 300 miles an hour or something down the fucking highway or something. It's just, it is quite interesting that these sort of movies, even though like they're dated, there isn't a little bit of that in there. I can imagine someone hacking into these vehicles at some point and taking over. It's just scary to see. But yeah, getting back to that, like, there's just so many things that don't work continuity-wise. I'm like, why is he even? You got people just stood there getting mowed down. I'm like, but that doesn't work because people are shouting and what do you do? Why would you stand in the middle of a fucking road when the vehicles are taking over? It's so frustrating watching it like now. I don't know about yourself, but I just was like laughing going, oh, this is terrible. Like, this is really bad. It is. It's awful.
It is really bad. You instantly changed my mind there about the driverless cars because I'm thinking, and my headspace has been like this for a while where I fucking love a driverless car. People say, oh yeah, I love driving. Do you really? You love just sitting in traffic, stop, start, stop, fucking start. I'll be fine. Just to get me in a driverless car, have a little nap, read a book or something, or doom scroll, whatever you're going to do, but I don't need to fucking concentrate on driving and avoiding crashing and everything. But yeah, the idea that you're just completely powerless and maybe just watched Maximum Overdrive, I'd get in my first driverless car and they'd be like, what are you doing, Dave? Like, oh, fucking hell. So yeah, maybe you just changed my mind. Maybe I'm not going to be an early adopter.
No, honestly, I mean, as long as Stephen King done directed, Dave, you might be all right if there is a movie about it. But I do think the iconic Green Goblin vehicle, like the truck, it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't fit. You can clearly see if you were driving it, them fucking horns would totally give you blind spots when you're driving, but it looks good at the front. It doesn't really make sense why you would have a vehicle like that. Like, I'm sure I see them a lot, like vehicles going in Trafford Park where there was one the other week. I've seen loads like that. It's like the Terminator, the Avengers. I've seen George Best United ones. I've seen Fools and Horses. Where they're painted on them. They look amazing. But to have this massive Green Goblin on the front was just bizarre to me. It looked really silly. But then the premise of the story is obviously they surround the truck stop. And then you get that fucking weird couple who've just got married where the wife looks about 50 and the guy looks about
Lisa
20.
Simpson, you mean?
Yeah, her, Dave. Yeah, she looks so much older than him. They don't look like a married couple, if that makes sense. I could never get over that when I watched it as a kid.
Yeah. No, I'm sure she does the voice for Lisa Simpson.
Shit. Oh, yeah, Yeardley Smith. Yeah, you're right.
Yeardley Smith. Yeah. But you know what really bugs me is just the selective machines that come to life. Because, and you can imagine if this thing happened today, it'd be so much worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd have all your fucking smartphones and everything turning on you. It's like, I'm just going to publish your search history. You'd be sabotaged on every corner. But, they're in the truck stop. They're still surrounded by technology. But it's just, you know, you've got this electric knife, which suddenly, I mean, if you think about the mechanics of that knife, it's not going to be able to move. All it can do is turn itself on or off.
Yeah.
It can't maneuver itself around, so it takes a chunk out of the waitress's arm. And you say about the married couple, well, they are also driving a car.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
And I'm like, but why is that car not affected? And, you know, when there's a truck that tries to run the groom over and he sort of ducks out the way, and then it's still there, it's missed him, and they're like, oh, well, that was pretty close, wasn't it? You know, and they're just having a casual fucking chat when this thing is still right there. And I'm like, why are you just being so casual? And then it starts to, like, you know, rev up the engine again. They're like, oh, let's fucking get out of here. But why, just the weirdness, the way the characters behave in different situations, is just completely bizarre.
It is, and I'll tell you what did make me laugh more, Dave. Just this is like a Chuck Norris type thing or whatever. Is the fact that the owner, Bubba Hendershot, has got a fucking army of weapons.
Yeah, it's like Tremors, isn't it?
Yeah, in the stores. And then just pulls out a fucking bazooka from nowhere and just starts taking out the fucking different vehicles as the circling his fucking truck stop. And then Bill goes down there. At one point, Keanu Reeves, as he's saying to him, I'll knock your teeth out. We get a love interest, Dave. I mean, you're being circled by these trucks, but he still gets his fucking leg over there, doesn't he, old Bill, with that girl?
Did you recognise her as well? We have covered a film with Laura Harrington.
No.
She was Melissa Black in Devil's Advocate.
Oh, nice.
So she was the
That's
one.
right.
She was like the PA with, for Coach.
Yeah.
Where, it's a weird thing. I watched Devil's Advocate so many times, I guess, back in the late 90s. And, it's just, she was the one who was giving Coach an alibi, because she was apparently having an affair. But, Keanu Reeves asked her, is he circumcised? And she fails the test. She doesn't know. But yeah, anyway, that was Laura Harrington.
But and thank you for that too. It's crazy, isn't it, that the world around him, he's dead bodies all over the fucking truck stop. People are dying, but he still has time to fucking, dip his bread sort of thing, and they have a bit of a romantic interlude. But yeah, I just found it brilliant that the fucking truck stop owner's got all these army of weapons. He's basically an arms dealer, isn't he? And he's just pulling them out the bag, bazookas. Why are they even carrying guns at this point? Because, I know later on, we've got 18 levels of, she actually shoots the vehicle with the married guy and they blow it up with a couple of bullets. But I'm sorry, I'm not having it that he blows up that ice cream van, which I did think was electric because it looked like a post van and it's got tasty something on it. But the aesthetics of it, the whole continuity is just so off on this. There's no way Stephen King would have watched this after they did it together and gone, that's it, masterpiece. He makes it look fucking shit. I know he was coked out of his head and he says that there's another guy who's supposed to have done a lot of the directing on, but he's never been credited with it. But my God, there's nothing makes sense in this. And that young kid who's just cycling everywhere. And it's like, doesn't make any sense, that, does it?
No. That baseball scene went on fucking ages, didn't it? Going back to the soda can bit there. But I was thinking as well, what classes as a machine? Because you have this like little military vehicle. So you got a bunch of trucks. And I kept thinking to myself, well, if they'd have just stuck with the trucks concept, so for whatever reason, it was, this comet magically didn't bring to life cars or motorbikes or anything. It just brought together trucks. There's something about the size of them or the engine capacity or something. But it's the fact that you have like the arcade machines turning on you and then, your electric knife turning on you. But then suddenly other things. And I was thinking about that little military machine with the gun, just suddenly I don't know, is it just casually fucking strolling around North Carolina? But that turns up as well. And, he's shooting at them. And I'm like, okay, so clearly it doesn't have to be electronic. Is the machine just mechanical then? So why aren't all the fucking guns turning on them?
Yeah, that don't make any sense. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is bullshit. You're right. Like you said about the car, the married couple's car. Nothing happens to that vehicle, but then all the other vehicles, like even a fucking lawnmower was chasing that kid at one point. Isn't it? It's like, come on. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, because maybe because it's on the turret. I don't know. It's weird. And then, what gets me though, Dave, out of this whole movie, you've got this kid who eventually ends up at the truck stop. He gets there eventually. He's had to go under the fucking drain and all that. So Bill saves him and all this crap. But it's when the fucking truck starts speaking Morse code and you've got the truck stop owner who is basically John Rambo's fucking dad with the amount of stuff, who's obviously been in the army, but he doesn't know what Morse code is. But this 10 to 12-year-old lad knows what Morse code is. Now, the other guys there, they all look around as if they would have been in like Vietnam or some sort of war in the army, but no one knows it's Morse code other than this kid, and then starts deciphering it. And I'm like, come on. And the turret is going to keep them alive as long as they pump diesel to keep the trucks alive. And I'm like, it's like, and Emilio Estevez goes out, doesn't he, and like faces the turret, doesn't he, and everything. And I'm just like, this is fucking
ridiculous, isn't it? The thing is, it almost turns into a Spielberg movie at that point, doesn't it? Where the kid is the savior, because, like you say, he's the one who knows Morse code, weirdly. Maybe he found it at the Scouts or something. But, and he's so exhausted because he has to keep going out and, filling the trucks up with gas and whatever. It's just a nonsense. You've got all these trucks queuing and what have you. But the thing that fascinates me is just the casual attitude to copywriting back in the mid 80s. I mean, we've already covered. So Gremlins came out in 84. And that has stood out to me. That it's like, okay, they've got, they had the Seven Dwarfs, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, didn't they? And they've got they're all singing along, hi ho, and whatever. How did Disney just say, yeah, go for your life, mate. Don't care if you want to put that in the movie. Have a good time. And apparently at this time, like Marvel, apparently they'd asked Marvel and they're like, yeah, knock yourself out, mate. That would never happen now, would it?
No.
People are so protective about their IP and stuff. And I guess it's interesting just to go back and, it wasn't that long ago, really, when people didn't give a shit. And then I guess people have got greedy or whatever, and just really want to make sure that, okay, if you want to use that, well, I'm sure there's like 20 lawyers all drafting up the paperwork and figuring out, all the different ways they can extract money from the movie.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously at this point, there was no real superhero other than Superman, wasn't there? There was no Spider-Man, really. It was proper bobbins on it and Captain America. Obviously, the Green Goblin's been
in the movies. I mean, they're obviously there in the comics, weren't they?
Comics, yeah. Just on the screen, obviously, there was nothing in the Green Goblin, unless you were a proper Spider-Man fan. You probably wouldn't know who he is, sort of thing. You'd have to be a proper fan, wouldn't you, I suppose? I mean, I think as a kid, I wouldn't have...
Probably in the cartoons, maybe,
Yeah. He was in there, wasn't he? He was in... I used to love them cartoons. But I think with the movie itself, and you're right, like, there's no way the copyright stuff, you couldn't have that now. I think, like, the idea of this happening and the wishy-washiness of, like, what works and what doesn't, exactly what you've said, like the guns, the vehicles, like the cars, it doesn't make any sense. And I think it's the trucks for me. If they were electric vehicles with no sound, I know there wasn't probably any around then other than milk floats, you could get away with it. But it's the fact that these trucks are big fuck-off diesel trucks. But for some reason, they also manoeuvre like they're in a little car and they can manoeuvre and turn really quickly. Well, I can drive a truck, Dave, and I'm like, they can't. And also, like, the idea that Bill decides to get him out of the fucking truck, so let's go on an island escaped off the coast with no motorised vehicles. What? Whatever fucking stuff Stephen King was taking, I want some, Dave, because that is fucking terrible. Like, the idea that how are they going to get to the island by other than rowing a fucking boat, because they can't use a motorised fucking speedboat. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but it's the 18ness of it all, where they've got these fucking machine guns and submachine guns, and you're like, but why do you need them guns? Other than, and then we get that bit, as I said before, where the girl ends up blowing up the fucking milk float, the ice cream van. But it doesn't make any sense. That truck is not gonna dent that truck at all, unless you hit the fuel lines with it. But diesel isn't flammable, Dave. I know it sounds thingy, it's not. If it was petrol, fair enough, but diesel does not blow up like that. And then the truck, that guy all of a sudden decides to go steal that woman's diamond. She's got a diamond on, which would probably pay for the fucking national debt of a country, hasn't she? Then he runs over to steal her engagement or a wedding ring, probably an engagement ring. And then the truck's behind him, the Green Goblin, and he's not heard it. But then the Green Goblin truck still has to start its engine to come at him, and he just stands there going, ah! And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, you could dive out of the way of one of them trucks so easily. And then again, they blow it up, don't they? The bazooka blows the truck up, and that's like the end of the movie. But you're just like, that is nonsense. Like, completely just utter bollocks. I mean, I've picked this movie, but I was even annoyed at myself by the time at this point in the movie, thinking, why have you picked this garbage? But Dave, it is the year of the Stichup. Yeah, this is exactly why I've picked it. But yeah, the diamond thing on the courts was bollocks. I'm sorry, it really was.
Yeah, I like you say, the noise that these things make, and they do have a phrase for a reason: the turn-in circle of a lorry. It's just so ridiculous. But even at the end, it's like, oh, they escape to the island. Comet passes by the Earth, and everything goes back to normal. Yay! It's like fucking bullshit. It's like, when you had to do, I don't know, creative writing at school or whatever, and then it's like, oh, it's 5 minutes to go. All right, fuck it, right, I need to wrap this up quick.
Yeah, at the end.
It's just such a fucking weak way of getting out of it. So yeah, utterly terrible. But Chris, I would say there is one thing in this movie that I think is pretty good. And that is the amount of AC/DC songs.
Oh, 100%.
It is 100%. Just wall-to-wall AC/DC, isn't it, from the start? And then, we go out, I think, is it Highway to Hell at the end? Shook Me All Night Long. I can't remember now. But, right from the start, right through the movie, and at the end as well, you got a bit of AC/DC. So as shit as the movie is, I think that's its one redeeming factor.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's the album Who Made Who. I think it was Hell's Bells. There's a couple of, like, Highway to Hell. They were made for this movie, and it's the soundtrack of this movie. They are iconic songs, Dave. You Shook Me All Night Long and Hell's Bells, it is, sorry. They're the two that really, two of my favourites. We've just been, so again, I'm going to throw another Vegas thing in. We've just done this thing called Cartzilla, Dave, which is quite apt considering we're doing a movie about trucks and stuff taking over, and it's a massive, so guys converted a Chevy engine and made a massive shopping trolley. And you go down the strip. There was 7 of us in our party. You go down the strip, and he said, like, you can create your own music. Everyone gets 3 songs each because it's like an hour trip. So you go right up to the side. Right, we went to see the Sphere. We went right up the strip. So I picked Highway to Hell. You Shook Me All Night Long, actually. I didn't know it was in this movie. Right. I knew AC/DC was in. So there's a bit where it kicks in, and we stopped at lights. Oh, David, it's brilliant. There was one bit where one of the guys, Tony, my mate, picked Bernie Love, Elvis, and everyone at the sidewalks going crazy. My brother-in-law, Matt, picked fucking Black Betty. So they were at the lights, so that just comes on, and everyone's at the side fucking, like, doing the hoedown fucking thingy. And then, so it was really funny. It was a good, but I had You Shook Me All Night Long on as well, which I love. But yeah, the AC/DC just stands out a mile. Like, this soundtrack just is too good. The ending's brilliant the way it ends off because of the music. But I love AC/DC, so it's like, and this is Brian Johnson AC/DC, not Bon Scott, but obviously brilliant ending for it, just for the music. The rest of the movie's fucking terrible, but the soundtrack is iconic, I think.
Yeah. I used to love the video for You Shook Me All Night Long, because I don't know if you remember it. It's like black and white.
Yep.
And you got Brian Johnson there. He's got the old flat cap on, and he's just got the old back scratcher type thing in a standalone bath. Do you remember it?
Yeah. Brian Johnson's iconic. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Ridiculous looking back at it. But yeah, no, it's a brilliant album, mate. And I can imagine people getting into that as the massive shopping cart. But I believe you bumped into a Patreon and fan over there, Chris.
Yeah, so it's lovely, Dave. We sort of arranged to meet up and see Susan as well, which is really nice. So she saw us on the first day, had a good chat. We couldn't get our diaries together to sync it. There was so much going on. We were renewing our wedding vows and everything, and I think Susan was having a bit of a chill out. But yeah, it was lovely to meet her, Dave. It really was. And I think at some point down the line, we'll probably see each other again when I'm back in Vegas. But yeah, really nice person, and I'd really appreciate all your support for both of us, Susan. Really nice to meet you.
No, it's very cool. Very cool. But Chris, back to Maximum Overdrive. Should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, my pick, Year of the Stichup, probably sticks myself up a bit more than probably you. A movie I wanted to do for such a long time, and I really wish we hadn't. It is terrible. There's no reason behind any of it. It's so flaky, like what can attack you and what can't. As you said, great pickup on the vehicle of the married couple. Absolute bollocks. This is going to Alderaan, Dave. It is a terrible, terrible movie. It's not the worst movie ever. It certainly isn't, but it's awful. And I just was like, why have I wasted my pick on this? And then as I said before, it's the Year of the Stichup. So knowing that a few people will probably watch this and go, yeah, this is terrible. But I can also see why people would like it and why it's got a bit of a cult following. But for me, it's terrible. Emilio Estevez doesn't suit the role. He's just ex-con. My fucking left bollock, Dave. Absolute nonsense. He just picks purely off his old man pushing buttons and asking for the role, I believe. It's a terrible movie. So what about yourself, Dave?
Yeah, so objectively, this movie is really terrible. It does make it clear why Stephen King doesn't direct any more movies. He's absolutely right there. He shouldn't be let anywhere near any others. I still wonder, of the hits that he's had. Actually, Stand By Me, I would say, would probably be a great movie. So he's had so many of these, but I do think, it's maybe overblown a bit just how great he is, because there's some fucking shit out there as well. And just this silly little short story to be made into a movie, it was probably a bit stuffed right from the start. It works in short story format. You can't make a movie out of it. Yeah, the acting's terrible. The casting's wrong. The choppiness, the way it's all edited together, it's clear they've cut big bits out of this movie, and it all just makes no sense. But there are two redeeming factors. The first is, I'd say, I do have this nostalgic warmness when I watch it as well, because like I say, I think back to that time when I was a bit more into Stephen King, when it was like, it's almost like a gateway horror type genre, isn't it? It's not as terrifying as some of the other horror movies I'd watched earlier, and then just fucking lay awake at night shitting it and protected by a bit of duvet. So there's that, but also I mentioned about the soundtrack as well. I think the soundtrack elevates it a bit. Not quite the same way that, say, John Williams elevates Star Wars, but just it's good. So when those tracks come on, you can't help but tap your foot a bit to a bit of old AC/DC. So I'm not saying that this needs to be sent off to Alderaan. I think this is an Elm Street. I think it is nonsense. It is really rubbish, but I can't, bring myself to put it right to the bottom and be blown up, never to be seen again there.
Interesting, Dave. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. Wow. I'm also getting worried now, because I do know that next week is your pick. So, Dave, I don't know what you're picking. I really don't. What have you got in your back pocket for next week?
Well, Chris, my dastardly plan, which isn't really that dastardly, it's just a joke to myself that only amuses me, but I did put in the calendar that we were going to do Star Trek 3, A Search for Spock, which is my reoccurring...
You keep doing that in the diary, yeah.
And one day, Chris, when you least expect it, I will be picking that. But that day is not today. So I have fired and missed a few times on the Stichup. I've tried with the sword and sorcery, so I went with gore initially, went with barbarians, and you kind of enjoyed both of them for quite different reasons. Then I went with trancers, and there was also a bit of fun with that, so a bit of sci-fi. So I thought this time I've got you, right? So I am going classic sci-fi. I am going Harrison Ford. And I am going into the early 80s, and I am going Blade Runner.
Wow.
Oh, God. Now, let's get into the trailer.
"2019.
I need your deck. This is a bad one, the worst yet. There was an escape from the off-world colonies 2 weeks ago. 6 replicants, 3 male, 3 female. They slaughtered 20...
A Blade Runner's job is to hunt down replicants. Manufactured humans you can't tell from the real thing.
What's this? Roy Batty. Probably the leader.
There was just one outfit making replicants that superhuman. The Tyrell Corporation.
Mr. Deckard, Dr. Eldon Tyrell.
I don't get it, Tyrell.
Commerce is our goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
I was looking for 6 replicants in a city of 106 million people.
You ever see this girl, huh? Never seen her. Buzz love.
660 million people.
What
So
I
I'm going to go
didn't know
bar
was
to bar and just ask
they were
everyone
looking for me.
one at a time. You see this girl? No. All right. Hey, you see this girl?
Just 2 eyes. Genetic design.
Legendary.
Just eyes.
One Dave. This is weird trailer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm at a bar here now, down in the 4th sector. Why don't you come on down here and have a drink?
That's not my kind of place.
Hey, he's only ever going to be Han Solo for me.
Yes. It's Harrison Ford playing Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian Jones.
Yeah.
Time to die.
If I didn't care.
This is one of those where I'm like, YouTube, you're telling me this is the official trailer. I'm not sure I'm believing you.
If I didn't care.
But I get away with just using this for next week's review, Dave, or what?
It's like the whole fucking movie.
This is official trailer. It's on Rotten Tomatoes as well. It's been used in the cinema.
Excuse me, Miss Salomon.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
You for real.
I've seen maybe 2 or 3 bits of this Rutger Hauer and that girl, and that's it. And my cousin loved this. Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Never seen anything. I don't know what it's about. This is pure 80s, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd say held up as a classic, but there are differing opinions.
Oh, don't you worry about that, Dave. There will be. Blade Runner.
Don't make the trailers like they used to.
Yo. You know what? It's weird that because I've never understood what the story's about, and I still don't. But also, just seeing that, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
well, I could tell you a bit, but I'll save that for next week.
No, don't do that. I'll just go into it blind and then come out of it even more upset. That
I don't know if you'll have any more insight at the end of it.
No,
but let's see.
No, yeah, thanks, Dave. Anyway, if you want to email us, the VHSStrikesBack@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @VHSStrikesBack. If you do support us, please go over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So a big thank you and a roll call of honour to Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Ken, Lucky Lily Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. I'm going to go away and think about my life choices because Dave is an absolute muppet for picking Blade Runner. But before we go, actually, Dave, I'm saying that I've actually got the song for this week, Dave. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pull something out of the bag. I'm going to bring to the table something that, I have produced, something to do with this movie. And I don't know if you're going to like it, Dave, but I'm going to play it anyway. So I've the song inspired by AC/DC. Around this time, it is more Bon Scott than it is Brian Johnson, but I've got a song for you, Dave, and this one is Maximum Overdrive. You're going to love this or hate it, but this is pure, a little bit of funky AC/DC with a little bit of a Bon Scott feel. But yeah, let's go.
Oh, I like it.
Engines roar in the dead of night. Green Goblin grill with the devil's bite. Trucks alive, they're breaking free. Metal monsters coming for you and me. No driver's seat, no human hand. Machines taking over, they rule the land. Diesel fuels and a blood red sky. Gonna ride this highway till we die. Maximum overdrive, feel the heat. Steel and chrome stomping down the streets. Maximum overdrive, no escape. Machines got the wheel, seething on fate. Rev it up, let's scream and shout. Maximum overdrive, we're running out.
Bass for you, Dave.
Oh, nice little bass over there.
Well, countless hell lit the world on fire. Sparks of doom fuel the dark desire. Bulldozers prowl, they're hunting prey. Ain't no roadblock gonna save the day. Diners trapped, we're under siege. 18 wheels spinning up the knee. Guns and guts, we're fighting back. But these killer rigs got us on the rag. Maximum overdrive, feel the heat. Steel and chrome stomping down the street. Maximum overdrive, no escape. Machines got the wheel, seething on fate. Rev it up, let it scream and shout. Maximum overdrive, we're running out. Ow! Maximum overdrive, feel the heat. Steel and chrome stomping neat and low. Rev it up, let it scream and shout. Maximum overdrive, feel the heat. Steel and chrome stomping down the street. Maximum overdrive, no escape. Machines got the wheel, seething on fate. Rev it up, let it scream and shout. Maximum overdrive, we're running out. Overdrive, burning up the road. Overdrive, you're every in the load. Maximum overdrive, it's a hell of a fight. Rock and roll rebellion in the dead of night. Ow! Maximum overdrive.
Short but sweet, Dave. Short but sweet.
That is, I think that might be the best one you put together. It's got that real, what was it? They called it, wasn't Strange Fruit or something, was it? In Almost Famous, where they were sort of taking off Led Zeppelin. It feels a little bit more early Zeppelin to me than TDC. But yeah, no, very good, very good.
And to be fair, I did spend a bit of time creating about 5 or 6 songs instead of doing my usual, oh no, we're recording in half an hour, let's see what I can put together. So I did actually spend some time on this one.
Stillwater. I've just found it up. Strange Fruit. I think that was from something else. But no, really, really good, Chris. But thank you for stitching me up this week. But all I'll say is I just cannot wait for next week. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's a lie.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
Correct. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid. Yeah, maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I seen you at 6.